Jezreel, the angel of wrath, shall bring men and women, the half of their bodies burning, and cast them into a place of darkness, even the hell of men. And a spirit of wrath shall chastise them with all manner of torment. And a worm that sleepeth shall not devour their entrails. And these are the persecutors and betrayers of my righteous ones.
What's up, YouTube? It's Biblical Truther. On my way to work this morning. So might have some background noise over here in the city, the great crescent city of New Orleans, i.e. Egypt, in my opinion. I made this video last week, and I didn't upload it because I was having trouble uploading the previous video that I've uploaded as far as the doctrines that I had told you guys I would do in parts. And I am working on the next one that should be up tomorrow, hopefully, if I don't have any uploading issues. But I think I'm fixing to switch services, and this video is going to tell you why. But that little clip I started out with was a little recording I took from the Apocalypse of Peter. And for those of you who followed me from my old channel, would remember a video I did called Jezreel. Is this the coming Antichrist? Well, that was a word that I was given upon waking up one morning. Didn't quite know what it meant. I know there's a city called Jezreel in the Bible, but I kind of took it as maybe more of an angel. And I'm gonna put a link in the description to that video if you want to go check it out, because my wife and I had did some research into what this name could be or what it might mean. I did not know that it would be just yesterday that I would find out what that would actually mean, what that name actually means, who it means, and what that angel does, and what that angel is responsible of. So my first inclination was that it was a name of an angel, was absolutely correct. So you can go watch that. But he is the angel of wrath, or the angel of judgment. Which is kind of crazy, because there was another video that I put up that was published on December 15th, 2020, the Jezreel video, which we know J can be also pronounced with a ya or a ah, or be almost completely silent, kind of like Jehovah or Yahovah or Yahov, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The J can be silent. So when I first got this word that morning, that's what I seen it spelled as Jezreel. So that was kind of the way I pronounced it. But anyway, I also made a video on this channel, Biblical Truther 81, and I published it on May 20th, 2021. It says, "They project a year in advance." That's the title to that video. And it's kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's an excerpt from an old show or movie where they pretty much lay out how they do things. And we all know now that, you know, there's truth in movies, shows, video games. This is how they not directly tell us what's going on, but this is how they put the information out there. It's kind of like the universal law, the cosmic law, or whatever you want to say, that they have to disclose the truth in their mind to absolve them of any wrongdoing. But that's just not the case. That's just another misconstrued way of perceiving that by the adversary, who everyone aligned with him are being deceived as well. Like, he's not a friend of anybody. But anyway, sorry guys, gotta edit this in. I almost forgot because I didn't write it down. But my wife also had a dream, probably, I don't know, 2016, 2017, of a situation where my daughter was still in private school, and something had happened to where we weren't able to get her from the school, and they were basically holding her from us. So I just wanted to interject, put this in here. I almost forgot about it. But that's what got us to homeschool her to start with. That's why we took those steps to make sure that this couldn't happen. So this video that I'm fixing to share with you guys pertains to a dream my daughter had that I published on December 1st, 2021. And you can go look at that thumbnail. It involves a child that is covered in these whelps or bumps. And just so happens, it's not quite a year ago. It's about 7-8 months, 9 months maybe ago. So I can't say I'm projecting a year into the future what's going to happen, but now we have this monkey business that's going on that directly links to that dream. So if you want, you can go check that out. But I had to make this video twice. Like I said, I made it a week ago. So when I say that I was having trouble uploading videos, that was last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. So it could be almost 2 weeks ago that I made this video, because it took me like, I think 6 days to get that one uploaded, the doctrine video that I just put out. But yeah, I'll put a link to the Apocalypse of Peter, which goes through basically the apocalypse, and it lists some angels in there about what their role is in the end times and whatnot. But Jezreel is how it's pronounced in the Apocalypse of Peter, or at least that's how this guy who's narrating the book pronounced it. So I thought that was kind of crazy that, you know, a year and 9 months ago I put that video out, not knowing what it was about and what it pertained to, and I was kind of asking for a little help on anybody's interpretation of that, or any information they may have had. And it wasn't until just yesterday that I actually came across that in the Apocalypse of Peter. So I will put that in the description, and it's just kind of a sign of the times where we're at. You know, we had Trump on the Economist cover sitting on the American flag toilet of the judgment card of the Torah. So it's kind of fitting that that would be the angel that I was told, or the name of the angel that I was told that morning upon waking up. So hopefully I don't get a strike for this. I tried to veil as much as I can, but making it obvious what I'm talking about without saying the, you know, the trigger words. So hopefully it doesn't trigger the algo and nobody reports me because they're trying to be, you know, facetious or whatnot. But check this out, man. Love you guys. What's up, YouTube's Biblical Truther? I want to make this video because something has come to our attention yesterday after talking to a Verizon technician that has kind of melded some other things together as to what may be in our near future, and sadly enough it involves our children. But I have to be very veiled because I want to post this on YouTube, but I'm also going to put it on BitChute. But this will absolutely get me a strike, so I'm going to have to try and figure out as I'm talking, because it's kind of spur of the moment, a roundabout way to say all this. But everyone knows how numbers can be associated with letters in the alphabet, right? Like 1 is A, 2 is B, you know, so forth and so on. Well, 7 is the letter, well, you can figure that part out. So when I say 2, 7, 3, 7, 4, 7, 5, 7, 6, 7, that 7 is a letter. So yesterday my wife calls Verizon because our internet has been getting worse and worse at our house for probably over a year now, and we don't have no landlines or nothing. We have a couple MiFis that we use for homeschooling and kid shows and stuff like that. And our service, since those 5.7 lines have been run out towards our house has pretty much cut our internet completely off. Like, if we try and stream anything on Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything like that, it has to load about every 30 seconds or so for 2 minutes, and then you get to watch another 30 seconds, and then it's got to load, and so forth and so on. So so she calls them yesterday asking them about our coverage, because when we got these about 6 years ago, we had excellent service at our house, but now all of a sudden we can't even halfway make phone calls. Text messages take a little while to even send from our house. So she called Verizon, which we've done several times over the past year as it's getting progressively worse. And we've talked to technicians who tell us how to go through our phones and the settings and whatnot to keep connected to Verizon cell towers and this and that. So she was arguing with the people because they had to go through the whole spiel of telling her how to reset the phone and the service and this connection and that connection. So finally she's like, I've been doing this for well over a year now. I know what I'm supposed to do. I need to talk to somebody that knows a little more than just this. So she gets this technician who is very truthful and forthcoming, in my opinion, which was kind of surprising because the things that he said kind of not necessarily correlate, but it does kind of tie some things together as to what could be in our future as far as past laws that have been passed in some states in regards to this infection that has been scammed about us for the last 2.5 years, however long it's been now. But he tells my wife that it's going to get worse even throughout the next year, and at the end of this year that they're going to be turning off the 2.7 and 3.7 services. So any phone that doesn't have 4.7 or 5.7 or higher service connection is going to be obsolete, at least on the Verizon platform. I'm not sure about other providers, but I'm sure they're going to be following suit. But why that is troubling is because he says that they're going to take that tower that they were using for 2.7 and 3.7 services and amplify the 4.7 and 5.7. But we know that the spectrum of gigahertz and hertz and all that the 5.7 uses was developed by our kind of wartime people, if you get my meaning, and it was for a crowd dispersal, crowd control type instruments used by our military. And that could still be found on YouTube, all videos demonstrating how it works and what it does to the human body and how it affects them and all that. So ever since this scam, some people call it a scam-demic, has started, we've seen a lot about this 5.7 that has been affecting people, like videos coming out of another communist nation of people just falling out. There was one in a nail salon that had some issues and I think ended up perishing, and a lot of people's correlating that with the 5.7, which it does. The hot spots for the infection and the hot spots where this has all been brought up to speed as far as infrastructure does overlay pretty significantly. But anyway, so when the T-Man was in there, when all this first started in March, when he declared on that Friday of the 13th that this was a national situation, everyone was sent home from schools. Nobody was able to go to schools. People were sent home from work and all that. And there was a lot of construction going on at these schools. And some people were asked what they were doing, and they were installing the 5-7 system in these schools. Now, I did a video about 2.5 years ago about some laws that were passed in Colorado that if a child has not been protected, if you get my meaning, and the parents refuse to have them protected, then that child can be taken as a ward of the state, and that parent will be incarcerated in a re-education system until they concede to have their child protected as well as themselves. So with this infrastructure in the schools, and the fact that they're fixing to do away with 2-7 and 3-7 to amplify the 4 and 5-7, what could that do to our children? When they just so happen, everything was approved for adolescents and infants to get protected, and now on August 4th, which happens to be Barry Soetoro, if you know who he is, he was a president about 2 presidents ago, number 44. Barry, his birthday is August 4th, and just so happens, coincidentally, of course, they declared this monkey business a national situation. Very quietly, because not many people talked about it on YouTube. It wasn't on the national news. It wasn't put out there very much, but it happened. They declared it a national situation. So that puts the F to the E to the M to the A people still in charge, which they never lost their power since Trump declared it. So the children are getting close to going back to school. So we got this infrastructure in there. We got this situation of Verizon telling us that they're going to be shutting down and amplifying the 5-7. And I posted a dream that my daughter had of my niece having this monkey business pop up on her, just out of the blue. So I don't know if this was kind of correlating with that dream of it wasn't my sister and my brother-in-law. It was only my niece who was broke out in this monkey business. So with all these laws that's been passed to be able to re-educate parents, and also I did a video showing where it had passed through legislation that they can have your children protected in schools without your knowledge, and your insurance will cover it, and they don't even have to tell you about it. So if this were to happen for those children who has not been protected, but they're around the other ones who are protected, and this 5-7 is amplified to cause say a rash of boil type sores, then every child in that school can be restricted from being able to enjoy their freedom of going home. Because as I've told you in the past, it is in the law books that when you drop your child off at a school, a public, federally funded school, you are no longer that custodial parent. That child becomes a ward of the state until you pick them back up. So that's kind of how they have leverage to do these things. So if this situation does develop as we kind of feel like it's gonna, and I've told you for a long time now, it's always been about the children. They are the ones who don't remember the old way of life, or didn't really pay attention when it was, pre-2020. But we as their parents, we remember how life was, where we had, the illusion of freedom and whatnot, but it was still more freedom than we have now. But with this monkey business being declared a situation, the downlocks are gonna come back. You know, we already see people wearing their diapers on their face without even having to be told to again. So when people start breaking out in these bumps, you know, like mosquito bites by the thousands, it's going to really freak people out. But not just that, for those who are in these public schools, if they up that system's frequency and power, and these children who have been protected start developing these you know, those things that would pop up on the skin, if they started, they're gonna lock that whole thing down. Everyone's child that's there is not going anywhere. So when you go to try and get them and you haven't been protected, your child hasn't been protected, they will protect your child without your consent, and you will not be able to get them back until you get yourself protected, or you will be incarcerated and re-educated to be more acceptant of the narrative. So I just wanted to put this out there, man, because you know, that guy was pretty forthcoming with his information, and he said it's not going to get better as far as service providing is concerned until 2024, but the rest of this year in 2023 is only going to get worse. So with them shutting down the 2737 to amplify the 4 and 5.7, I just see something very disastrous coming, and a lot of people who are not heeding the warning of homeschooling their children are going to be crushed when this happens to them. And they're going to look at the people who told them that it was going to happen, and they're going to be like, help me. And you're going to be like, well, what can we do? You know what I'm saying? We tried to warn you. Tried. I've got several videos about the children. The children has always been the target when it comes to restructuring a civilization, because as what was her name? Not Helen Blavatsky, but the other lady that the occultists like so much. Oh man, I can't think of her name. Anyway, she said in order to change a society, you have to go for the children. It has to be them, because the old people are set in their ways. They know how it used to be before these rules were imposed to basically restrict your movement and restrict your freedom. You know what I mean? So them people need to be done away with, and then you can focus on the minds that know no different. And as a child, you know, the older you get, the more memories you forget, you know, you tend to forget. So given, let's see how to put this, given the washing of the brain that has taken place in the public system of what they consider schooling, when they don't do anything to educate the youth. They just teach them to remember what they're told, not to use critical thinking, not to be imaginative and use their creative potentials. They're just told to stay in line, keep your head down, shut up, and remember what we say, because what we say is correct, and you know, you can't go outside of what we say, or we will, you know, kind of what's going to happen with the whole social credit score thing that happened over in this communist country, where people were not allowed to participate in society, if you get my drift. So hopefully, I did this video once already, but I think I spoke a little too much. I don't know how good the algo is now, if it would pick up on the gist of what I'm putting down, but this has to have some traction as far as warning people, like, this is really fixing to happen. If you remember that show Songbird, it was 2023 when America was in this downlock situation, military on the street, checkpoints everywhere, wristbands showing immunity or protection, you know, kind of like the QR codes that are being used to show if you're green or red, or you know, on these apps, if you understand what I'm saying, these trackable tracing type things. So I can't warn enough. I can't warn enough. And I'm sorry I've been away from YouTube for a while. For those subscribers who have been messaging me, asking me what's going on, how things have been and all that, I appreciate it. I will be back to getting some more videos rolling out, because there's some other things that I would love to talk about, and one of them I've already tried to upload to Biblical Truther 81, and it has been pending for review for about 12 hours now. So I tried uploading it to Biblical Truther, my original channel, but I only did that about 45 minutes ago, so I don't know how that one's coming along. But it is about some of these theories that are gaining traction in the Christian community, and I'm gonna have to do it in parts, because I tried making a video the other day and covering multiple ones in one video, and that just didn't seem to work cohesively. You know, it's too much sporadic jumping here and there and all that. So I'm gonna have to do those in parts. So part one is pending right now. Hopefully it'll be up shortly, but we'll see. And I'm gonna have probably 3, 4, maybe 5 parts to that, because it gets deep. It gets deep, and it's all part of the great falling away that is occurring at this very moment, in my opinion. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta go, you know, give some of my hard-earned money to this corporate entity right here, because I really don't have a choice at this point, how everything's been monopolized. But I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope you heed this warning and share it around, or at least tell people. You know, a lot of people want to send their kids off to schools and daycares and all that because they just can't afford not to. But daycares, I don't know what exactly is going to happen there, but I can see the writing on the wall for the public school system, especially all the laws that have been passed in regards to what the state can do and not do with their wards. So be prepared, be forewarned. And I'm not the only one saying this about, you know, children being targeted. So share this around, man. I hope people realize what is actually happening. I mean, I don't even know what else to say, because I took a little, almost 2-month hiatus, because it's just like, whether they bots or just lost sheep or just chattel who be commenting on videos or, you know, commenting on comments that I've made, it's like those that are gonna wake up have already woken up, and at this point not many more people are gonna wake up. It seems like it's almost to the precipice of people who are gonna realize what's happening here. So I have been a little discouraged. I have been you know, laying low, trying to let some time pass for these strikes to fall off of my channel and all, because they love giving me strikes for stupid things, you know, medical misinformation and hate speech, when I'm actually doing just the opposite of hate speech. But I have a clip I'm gonna play in a future video that will kind of lean to that. It was kind of funny, but it's 100% true. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm just rambling and ranting, but this is serious, man. Take heed, warn some people, and, you know, sacrifice what you gotta sacrifice to keep your kids home. Do whatever it takes. go above and beyond to not have your children in the possession of these people. I mean, I just don't know what else to say about it. Love you guys.